I don't think we can continue to do the same thing we've always done. And if we're not moving forward and staying on the front edge, I just think it's going to be a challenge for producers to survive. So we grew up on this farm. I'm the fifth generation. Farmed with my dad and grandpa. A lot of the stuff we're doing today isn't new. When I was young, this farm had 2-wire fences around everything, and after wheat harvest, they would put sedan in the old John Deere drills, drill it into the wheat stubble, and then whatever came up, they let the cows out and let the cows graze on that. So similar to what we're doing today. No-till on the plains. In the early years had bus tours that went to Dakota Lakes Research Farm. And myself and my dad went on that bus tour. And I guess that was probably the turning point in my journey into regenerative ag, if you want to call it that, today. When we came back from Dakota Lakes, like the very next day, we went to John Deere dealer and ordered a set of no-till drills and sold a lot of the tillage equipment, and then we started. We thought that if we had a good crop rotation and, did everything right with no-till, then that was going to be, that sounded simple enough. That was going to be the answer to all our problems. But we started to observe that no-till by itself wasn't working quite like what we thought. The changes in the soil just weren't happening. Like organic matters weren't going up, infiltration rates were still poor. So at that point in time, we started hearing more about cover crops. So we started implementing cover crops into the system. We kind of started with just some small fields, and they weren't real diverse mixes. They were mostly grasses, and it didn't take very long to figure out that diversity was key. And so that's when we started looking at different perennial systems, like how can we rapidly increase soil health, increase aggregation and water infiltration. As time has evolved, now like those perennial systems, they're really diverse, and we're seeing just rapid changes in our soil. And it was the realization that for us to make cover crops work in our climate and our system, we really realized that livestock was going to have to play a key role in it. We knew that if we were willing to take the hit on our cash crop, we needed to be still pulling revenue off that somehow. So that's how the livestock really play a key component in my system here. And we knew if we were going to have more livestock on the farm, then we wanted more of a perennial piece. So now we have an integrated series, I guess, of fields or whatever you want to call it around the farm that's perennial systems, cropland, all contiguous to where we can easily go back and forth, move the cattle across the landscape wherever they need to be.
Kevin is what I would call easy to work with. He's very knowledgeable. He does a lot of research on his own.
He's knowledgeable, patient, very research-driven, and innovative. Kevin's cover crop species mixes are only beneficial to soil health perspective, but also palatability for cattle. He's willing to try new things, including 5 to 7 species mixes with his cover crops.
It's my belief that the more diversity you have, the more diversity you're gonna have. It brings in more birds, more insects, more soil life. And also we'll take a full season cover crop, and on that cropland, we'll just devote that whole season to a diverse mix and grazing. And it does a couple things. One, in these drought years, it's really saved us. And 2, I think it helps heal the land. Whenever we're on cover crops for the most part, or we're on these perennial systems, we try to move the cattle every day. On our perennial systems, we're taking off nearly 60 animal days per acre, which is probably 2 to 3 times what we would on a set stock systems. And the benefits of moving the cattle every day go far beyond that. It's uniform manure and urine distribution, the cycling of nutrients. You get more animal impact on the land, trampling the forage and getting that in contact with the soil where the biology can utilize that as well. As far as value to the operation, I have learned so much more going and traveling to other people's farms than I could have ever learned here. Being with all those peer groups, all those organizations, going to all those meetings, networking with people, I would not be where I am today if I would not have done that. And it continues to drive me. I always want to try to do something different, and if we fail at it, that's fine, but we want to just continually be moving forward. So the Leopold Award to me is kind of the pinnacle award for conservation. Tremendously humbled. I don't need the award. I was never asking for the award, but to me, that's the real honor, is that other people feel like I deserve the award.